back to the TWU Local 591 podcast. My name is Gary Scheibel, your local president. This is our weekly membership video update podcast. Joining me today is your Vice President, Brian Coyne. So I'm going to get into the benefits update. So members who enrolled in the voluntary union benefits, but who have not called and or arranged to start making their premium payments, you will be, or you already have been sent a final reminder to get these payments resolved. If you do not get them resolved, your premium payments by April 15th, your enrolled policies will be canceled. So call EFP right away if you still want your enrolled benefits, but have not started to pay the premiums and back premiums. So that's 844-606-0524. Again, that's 844-606-0524. Let me touch on some ASAP and compliance updates here. Reminder, when working with TSIs and something occurs before you can complete the TSI, AMTs need to document the current status and update the TSI appropriately. Lockout, tagout. Please remind our members that lockout, tagout is not optional. Documenting when the lockout is accomplished, don't delay, regardless of your schedule expectations. Example, you pull a collar circuit breaker, stop and properly document that step. Do not wait until later. Also, when you reinstate the circuit breakers, stop and properly document that right away. So, Brian?
Okay, let's talk about safety. Tech Ops injuries as of April 5th, 2026. AMTs, 389. MLS, 126. Facilities maintenance, 41. GSE maintenance, 26, and utility, 4. That's a total of about 3 months of 586 Tech Ops injuries. That's about 6 injuries per day, which is a very high number. So, yes. The bump cap, soft rollout for this month. Bump cap required in the following areas of the aircraft. Opened engines, APU compartments. This policy will become mandatory on May 1st. The recently delivered B787 hell stands were delivered with correct platform swing gates. Mike is currently working with tooling and engineering and WAG to ensure the correct swing gates are delivered and installed. Until then, these stands need to be tagged out of service until this issue is resolved. Mike will report on the status once completed, but we need these taken out of service. AMT Executive Board member Mark Erler and Executive Board member Chris Horvath attended a company safety summit. Local 591 safety coordinator Mike Cochran presented. And Mike's presentation was outstanding, and it looks like much of his presentation content will likely be used by the company in an upcoming safety training module to be presented by Tech Ops Maintenance training specialists in the near future. So look forward to that. I'm just going to go into the grievance update. So the board and I recently completed a review of the revised grievance process and checklist. The final draft will be coming out soon. So it lines up with the bylaws and everybody's on the same page to get these grievances handled at the lowest possible levels to sit there and clean this up. So thanks, Gary.
All right, so I'm going to Chris Horvath's update for field trips. He reported for the week of April 10th, 31 line field trips and 8 base field trips. Article 6K settlement, 2 field trips were captured, and 4 AMTs will be receiving the field trip bypass payments soon. From the previous Article 6K settlement meeting, 2 previously reported field trips are still in works. Chris is on the job on that. I'm going to membership meetings. So the next scheduled membership meetings or the floor walks with it will be in the West region in Phoenix on April 15th and also on the 16th, and the meeting itself will be 3 p.m. on the 15th. I'm going to go into Air 21s. So I want to remind everybody, make sure all the members are aware there's an excellent video explanation from an aviation attorney on what the Air 21 Whistleblower program is and how it can be used to protect workers. So please watch the video. It has a lot of great information. It's on our homepage of our website. Also, if you feel you're being pressured to deviate from the company policies, and or required manuals, and are also experiencing harassment or intimidation at work because you're focused on doing the job the right way, you may have an Air 21 level complaint. So please contact myself directly, email or phone, if you're experiencing any of these types of situations. Brian?
Okay, I want to bring up the Javits seniority. This is a big topic. Everywhere we go, everybody asks about the Javits. So the question was asked, where do we find the current status of the Javits rank seniority list? Each 6 months, March and September 26, Administrative Executive Board member Russ Dittmer works to produce a current status of those Javits list. The good news, more and more groups have reached the point where over 50% are no longer on them rank lists. You can find those lists on the local website in the members area under the title Seniority and Javits Information. These updated lists include links inside the PDFs for the current status of each Javits rank group, and also copies are provided of the seniority list used to reference if needed. If you think someone should not be on one of these lists, please contact Russ Dittmer via email with your concerns. Russ will need name, employee number, and what you believe the issue is in mail in order to investigate.
Yeah, I want to thank Russ for doing that because it's not part of his job. He doesn't have to do that. You would think this is something that the association level would be handling, but they're not handling. So thanks, Russ, for handling that and making sure our members are informed. All right, one last topic, a little bit of a negotiations tidbit. So this actually came up in our visit to JFK last week. And the question came up about when did the 58 cents for midnight shift differential come about? And the answer, 1984. 1984 was also the first MD-80 would have been 1 year old in 1984. That's when this happened. So in case you were wondering, 58 cents back in 1984 is now worth $1.86. Interestingly enough, when I was doing the research, the highest as far as money in today's money for shift differential would have been back in 1971 when it was 28 cents for midnights or $2.30 in today's money. Using the AMT wage at the time, that would have equated to 4.5% in 1971 and 3.1% in 1984 of the all-in wage for using mechanics. So if those shift differentials were percentage base, the 1971 4.5%, that was equal to today would have been $3.16 for midnight shift differential based on our all-in rate. So finally, a reminder that we at Local 591, we do have a Facebook page and a YouTube page. So please subscribe to them to get updates and notifications when new information is posted. That is our podcast for this week. Anything else, Brian?
Longevity. That's what we're looking for. Longevity.
So as always, any thoughts, issues, suggestions for future podcasts, please send them to info@local591.com. We hope all of you have a great week and please be safe.